Hello YouTube, Mikey Cal here, and this is video number 19 in my series on utilizing Blender as a video editor. Now, in the previous video, I showed you how to insert keyframes, and I introduced you to the graph editor and the dope sheet editor, and finally we did an audio fade. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to convert a letterboxed movie to a full frame movie. And I've already imported a clip from the movie Tears of Steel to demonstrate some of the common problems that we encounter when we try to actually convert a letterbox movie to the full frame. So let's get started. First thing, if we go over to our properties for our video strip by right-clicking on our video strip and looking at the properties over here, we can see that this video of Tears of Steel is actually 1280 by 534. And I've set the actual render settings to match up here. But the problem is that if we want a video to be full frame on a high-definition television, we want it to be either, in this case, 1080p or 720p. That is 1920 by 1080 or 1280 by 720. In this case, we're going to do 1280 by 720 or 720p conversion. So let's actually just change our render settings first, because the way that our video is being shown in the preview window is based on the render settings that we have over here. So I'm just going to go to the render presets, and I'm going to select HDTV 720p. Now, did you notice something in the preview window the second that we actually converted it to a resolution that would be full frame for HDTV? Well, it stretched out our video. It made it stretch to full frame, and we lost the proportions, the correct proportions. So we need to fix that. And the easiest way to fix that is to select our video strip with our right mouse button, go over to the properties, and click the magical image offset button. When you click this, it fixes all the proportions. And now what we want to do is we want to create a transform layer so we can actually zoom this and we can move it around and stuff like that. So let's go down to our Add menu, and we're going to go to Effect Strip, and we're going to select Transform. And I always tell you guys, whenever you create a transform layer for a video or an image strip, right-click on the original strip and go to Strip menu and select Mute Strips. You can also right-click on it and hit the H button, and that will also hide it. So let's go up to our strip, our transform strip up here by right-clicking on it, and we're going to go to the properties, and we're going to select Uniform Scale. And before we scale it, we're going to go up to the position, and we need this to be centered, and it's at the bottom. So we're only going to need to play around with the Y coordinate to go up and down. So I'm going to use my left mouse button, click on the Y coordinates, and drag to the right, and we're just going to eye this, place it somewhere near the middle. There we go. If we actually hit the render button or the animation button right now and rendered out our frame range, it would actually create a letterboxed version of this video that has those bars on the top and the bottom, and we don't want to do that. So we need to zoom this in. So let's actually go to the scale option over here and make sure that you selected the uniform scale option above it, and we're just going to left click on this and drag and try to make it fill the entire frame. That should do, right about there. Now you can see where we start to have problems when we convert a letterbox film to full frame. In the letterbox version, we can easily see the woman's face. Now her face is pretty much cut in half. So how do we deal with this kind of an issue? Well, we need to do pan and scan. And pan and scan allows us to actually move our camera around to different parts of the video and focus on the subjects. So I want to be able to see this woman here. So let's first bring up our graph editor and dope sheet just like we did in the last video. And the way we do that is we take our mouse cursor, hold it over this little triangular area until we get this cursor, left click and pull to the left, and that will actually create a duplicate of the window that we pulled it from. And we're going to click here and make this one a dope sheet, and we're going to click here, and we're going to make this one a graph editor. And I always tell you to zoom out, so hold your mouse cursor over this area here and hit your home button to zoom out. Hit your mouse cursor over the graph here and hit the home button to zoom out. And now those are all zoomed out. Now, let's see. Let's actually kind of review our video a little bit to see how the subjects move around as we progress through the film. So I'm going to play a little bit of it. I'm going to go back to the beginning, actually. We're going to click this down here to go to the first frame. And we'll hit play, and we'll see how everything shows up. It looks pretty good. He's looking over to this woman. Her face is kind of half cut off. So what do we want to do? We want to kind of bring her more into the frame. So let's see, where should we actually start this? I can actually start to pull the camera over a little bit, maybe at this point here. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to go to the x-coordinate, because really we need to only go left and right when we're actually doing our pan and scan. We don't really need to do a lot of up and down, though there could be some special cases where that would be necessary. In this case, we're really just trying to see people on either side of the frame. So let's just give this a try. First of all, I have right-clicked on the transform layer. I'm over the position, the x and y position coordinates. I'm going to mainly just change the x-coordinate, so we're going to hold our mouse cursor over the x-coordinates, and I'm going to hit the I button to insert a keyframe. And you can see it has inserted a keyframe here in the dope sheet, and it has inserted a keyframe here on the graph. And I always like to actually just, it's showing the same keyframe right here in the dope sheet 4 times. I like to just collapse this just so it shows it only 1 time. It's a little bit easier to see. And so it's our pan or scan is going to start from that point. So I want to find a place in the video where I want the scan to end. I'm just going to select here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to now hold my mouse cursor over the X, and I'm going to click my left mouse button and drag it to the right until she's in the frame the way that I like to see her. Maybe like that. Okay. And then I'm going to hold the mouse cursor over the X coordinate and hit the I button for insert keyframe. And you can see now that we have our 2 keyframes in the dope sheet. I'm going to hit my home button to zoom this out a little bit. And I'm going to hit my home button here to zoom that out. And we can see we have a curve that's showing the transition, how the transition is going to smoothly happen. So let's actually go back. Now here's a cool thing. I didn't show you guys this before, but these little buttons down here on the for navigation are used for going between keyframes. So if I click this little button right here, it will go back 1 keyframe. Click it here, and it'll go forward 1 keyframe. So I can easily go to the start of the starting keyframe by just clicking here. So let's see what this looks like. I'm going to hit the play button. Now, that was kind of fast. You might want to slow that down. You might want to actually, maybe what we could do is we could possibly, I'm scrolling down to get more frames visible in the dope sheet. I could right click on here and I can drag it to the right, and we can extend the period of time or period of frames that this transition is going to happen over. And let's actually go back here. I'm going to click this, go back to the starting keyframe right there and hit play. Actually, sorry, I got to go back 1 more. I went to the end keyframe. Now it's not perfect, but I think you guys get the idea. Now you can actually create these pan and scan kind of movements throughout the film as much as you like. And I think that's pretty straightforward. If you guys want to change the way the transition happens, you can always go to the graph over here, and you can manipulate the shape of this curve, and it will actually make the transition happen at different speeds and stuff like that. So play around with that. Review the previous video that I did that tells you about the curves and everything, and apply some of those things. And I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about when it comes to converting a video from a letterbox video to a functional pan and scanned full-framed video for your high-definition television. I'll see you guys in the next video.